It's that time again for another edition of the Roadrunners Coaches Corner Halloween edition, coming to you live from the Tivoli Tap House located here on the Auraria campus at Metro State, on the campus of MSU Denver, the show where we get you caught up on Roadrunners sports, everything MSU Denver athletics. Be sure to come join us every Monday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Enjoy the food, the atmosphere, and the great drinks that they have as we talk some MSU Denver sports. I'm Stephen Priest, and joining me on the show today is my usual co-host from the Met Sports Show, Hector Venegas, to my right. On today's show, we'll bring in head coach for your men's soccer team, Jeremy Tittle. He'll tell us about the end of the regular season and how they're prepping for the RMAC Tournament on Wednesday. Also on the show today, we got head coach for your men's basketball team, Derrick Clark. He'll talk to us about how they're getting started for their regular season, which tips off in a couple weeks, and what they're doing to prepare for that. And, of course, we'll be joined by Sunday Dech of your men's basketball team, and we'll talk about his first year as a player and see what he's going to do to prepare for the season. But as usual, it's time to check out what occurred in this past weekend for MSU Denver sports. The men's soccer team finished out the regular season on a 3-game winning streak, which included a huge 2-0 victory over Fort Lewis College this past Sunday. Both teams were fighting it out for RMAC seeding, and it was senior forward Josh Belfridge who netted both goals for his team, leading 11th and 12th goals on the season. We'll talk with Coach Tittle here in a bit about who the Roadrunners will face in the RMAC Tournament coming up on Wednesday. Moving along to women's soccer, they had just the single game this past weekend and fell to Regis 2-0 on the road, but they still earned a spot in the RMAC Tournament as they finished with the 5th seed. Will travel to Grand Junction on Wednesday to take on the 4th seeded Colorado Mesa. That game will kick off at 6 p.m. and we wish Adrian Peets and her squad the best of luck. And finally, volleyball. It's the same old as they continue to cruise in the RMAC after defeating South Dakota School of Mines 3-0 and Black Hills State 3-1 at home. It was senior weekend for 4 Roadrunners, and they all contributed as the Red and Blue are now 15-0 in conference play. With only 3 games to go, they are close to winning the RMAC regular season championship. We'll now bring in show favorite, Coach Tittle, joining us again here on the show. Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us. How you doing tonight?
Thanks, guys. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, Coach, get you turned on here. Coach, speaking of this last weekend for you guys, just knowing how much was at stake for this game, just talk about how you prepared the squad, what went into the week prior to get really ramped up for this game.
I don't want to give away all our trade secrets. We changed our rhythm, which is something kind of atypical for us. Right. We're pretty committed to having the same weekly rhythm every week, and we changed it up this past week. And I think the guys, their mindset, even one of them, Dustin Berg, our captain, one of our captains today, said, you know, that it was a good point in time to get our mind right again as a group. And the whole group, there was a big buy-in. And another senior leader, Jeff Gillis, said, you know, he saw a behavioral difference in several players over the last week or two. And he named those players today in practice. And, you know, it's nice to be recognized and know that, you know, you're adding value and making a contribution, and what buy-in looks like, and the benefit of being fully committed. And they had a great week of training, and it led to us having some good performances this weekend.
Well, let's talk about this game that you had on Sunday. Fort Lewis came in, same conference record as you. Did it feel kind of like a playoff game type of atmosphere? And if so, how did you try and get the squad in that mentality to take them on?
I don't know. I mean, we knew it had playoff implications where everybody was going to finish. And, you know, they're a respectable program for sure. You know, they're a good opponent. So we knew there was a lot at stake because we want to try to win every game. Yeah. Even though a result either way, we would have still been in the conference tournament. We thought we had a chance to actually host the first round. Turned out, you know, the points didn't go in our favor for that, but we would have played, I think, Mines anyway, either way. So yeah, we're ready to go.
Now take me through this game a little bit. It was scoreless through that first half. Then Josh Belfridge comes up big like he's done all season long. Take me through that first goal. I believe it was in the 58th minute, correct? Yeah. Take me through that first goal for him.
So we changed the point of attack from the left side all the way to the right side. Dimitri, that plays wide for us, got on the ball, tried to get in once, couldn't get in on the dribble, stayed very persistent with it, got in the second time, and then the number of players that showed up in front of the goal. We had 4 guys actually in the mouth of the goal. And then he played it across to Jeff, who had a really nice attempt at the goal, put it on frame, and then Josh ended up being in the path of the ball on the way to the goal and took a nice touch and finished it point-blank range. So it was a quality finish. And kudos to Jeff for putting it on frame, which we've been talking about a lot.
Right.
And Dimitri's persistence, like, I'm going to make sure this ball gets past these guys and get in the box. So.
Now, the second goal was a little bit crazy, had a crazy sequence. Belfridge would make it 2-0 about 11 minutes later, and a corner kick, and during that time of stoppage, you bring in D'Angelo Escobar off the bench. He goes right to the corner, puts a perfect assist on Belfridge, heads it in. Pretty much how you drew it up on the sideline?
It is one of our corner kick plays.
Okay.
So I don't know that I drew it up on the sideline,
right.
But we've got like, I don't know, 12 or more that we like.
Wow.
And I let them just decide what they're going to do, and wherever they line up, and wherever they line up says where the ball's supposed to go. And now I'm giving away trade secrets. You're not supposed to get me to say like that, right?
Say stuff like that.
We'll have to use one of the other 14 ones.
We can't send this tape out, so we'll wait till after Wednesday.
No, it was quality service. Lolo coming off the bench.
Right.
He's been playing really well lately. We're really pleased with how he's coming along. And Josh there was a nice header in traffic, and they've got some big players. So, you know, to win a ball in the box against them is an accomplishment and put it on frame.
Now, speaking of Josh, he earned academic all-district, working to get a 3.4 GPA in English. How proud are you as a coach of your athletes when they get selected to these all-academic honor rolls and all RMAC teams? And
yeah, tremendously so, right? I mean, they're student athletes. We want them to achieve academic success because we know it's going to set them up for life success. Soccer is a vehicle, oftentimes, that they get to enjoy those things. So. Tremendously proud of Josh. That was pointed out by another player actually before I had a chance to acknowledge him in front of the group. I think it says something about our environment that they value it. They're bringing it up. They're looking at these things online and when they get published. And I think there'll be some other guys that'll get some other academic awards later on. And hopefully our team will continue as they have, I don't know, the last 8 or 10 years, received national recognition for their academics. So I hope to keep that trend going.
So you finished in the regular season with a 9-4-1 mark, earning the 5th seed in the RMAC Conference Tournament. You'll head to Golden to take on Colorado School of Mines, a team that you beat on their home pitch in late September. Can you give us a little bit about what makes them difficult and maybe what you will try to do different this time?
I don't know what we'll do different this time. I mean, we want to keep doing what we're doing right now. We're doing it pretty well. We're pretty pleased with how we're playing. Mines is always a wild card. They have the habit of like pulling out all the stops, doing wacky, crazy things sometimes. You think you know what you're going to get from them sometimes, and you get something totally, you know, that you would not have expected. So we often prepare for them in the way that let's focus on us and be prepared for whatever wild cards they throw in.
And then, Coach, speaking of preparing for the game, it's only about a 30-minute drive. Does that change your strategy for the game, considering you don't have to travel as far? Or you stay the same?
Our strategy is the same. Maybe our rhythm and preparation is different, you know, than it is at home or on a longer trip. But we plan on doing our pregame here. We'll do all our athletic training stuff, our treatments. We'll do our pregame talk, and then we'll drive over in the vans and get out and warm up. So we don't use the locker room over there. Just go straight to the field and let's go play.
Well, Coach, we're excited for you and the squad. We can't wait to see Wednesday's game and see how things turn out. We'll be rooting for you in the RMAC tournament, so best of luck there.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Coach.
Of course. Make sure you go check out the game Wednesday at noon at Colorado School of Mines in Golden to support the men's soccer team, and hopefully we can get a win. If you can't go out, you can watch it at roadrunnersathletics.com on Portal Stretch Internet to see that game there. Coming up next, though, we'll be joined by head men's basketball coach Derrick Clark, and he'll tell us how the squad is preparing for their upcoming season. You don't want to miss that here on the Roadrunners Coach's Corner.
I pledge.
I pledge.
I pledge. To identify situations in which sexual assault may occur.
To recognize that non-consensual sex is sexual assault.
I pledge.
I pledge. To create an environment in which sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported.
to intervene in situations where consent has not or cannot be given.
Hi, I'm Tyrone Braxton. I won 2 Super Bowl rings and was an all-pro safety. But I wanted to do more with my life. I knew I wanted to help people, and MSU Denver helped me figure out my next steps. As a case manager at the Mental Health Center Denver, I'm helping people re-enter society. And this is so much better than those 2 Super Bowl rings. I reinvented myself at MSU Denver.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Met Radio on mymetmedia.com.
I'm Lexi Marr, senior defender for the Roadrunners women's soccer team.
These teams looking for offense, and there's Marr, the all-conference defender.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
We're back here at the Tivoli Tap House. Make sure you come out every Monday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and join us here, or you can keep up with all of your MSU Denver news and sports at roadrunnersathletics.com. We're now joined by head men's basketball coach, Coach Derrick Clark. Thanks for taking out the time to come back on the show with us, Coach. How you doing tonight? Happy Halloween, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy Halloween to you. It's good to be here.
We were expecting you in a costume, Coach.
That's not happening, man. You don't know me very well.
Well, Coach, we understand that you're a big Tar Heels fan, North Carolina Tar Heel fan. Talk to me, how you feel about the team this year, and what's the feel with that?
Well, you know, I'm more concerned with our thing right now as we're about to jump it up on Friday.
Right.
But being born and raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, you know, it's kind of in the blood, you know, when you're on Tobacco Road. So I haven't had a chance to study those guys yet. I usually, about halfway through, start getting the fever.
Now, did you catch at all that game, Marcus Page draining the 3 to tie it, and then Chris, who was it, Chris Jenkins hit that one at the end? What was that like, watching that?
That was college basketball at the highest level.
Right.
You know, you saw 2 teams, and that's the way a national championship should be decided, going down to the very last possession. And, you know, Villanova did a great job. They trusted their system on that last play. It was just a lot of poise within the last minute of the game. But that's the way a national championship is supposed to be, in my opinion.
Now, Coach, since the last time we talked to you, the RMAC preseason poll has come out. They had you guys slated as 3rd.
Yeah.
Now, as a coach, do you mention this at all to your team? Is this bulletin board material to kind of motivate you a little bit in the season, or is it just something that you just keep blinders on and just keep working?
No, unfortunately, in this day and age, everything's public. Everything's on social media, and our guys are connected to social media, so I don't really have to say anything about it. They're going to, you know, eventually find out what it is. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a coach's vote, and I said it, we had our luncheon a couple weeks ago for the RMAC, which was a great deal at Blake Street Tavern, and I was asked about that very thing, the polls, and you know, the coaches do it, and I think that, you know, Mines and Fort Lewis, they had great years.
Yes.
You know, so I don't feel slighted at all if they're above us. But at the end of the day, wherever you pick, you got to go out and win basketball games. You know, that thing's not going to get you any wins or losses, you know, before you have to play the games.
Right. Now, speaking of the preseason RMAC selection stuff, Andre Harris, I understand, was also picked to finish as a preseason All-RMAC candidate. We were able to come out when we were shooting the previews to see practice for a little bit, and he seemed very vocal as a leader. Talk about what he's done through the offseason, through practices. How has he stepped up in that?
You know, he had a great summer. He stayed here. He didn't go back to Illinois this summer. He felt like he needed to stay here and lift and work and play. and we're seeing the benefits of it. And the other thing is, you mentioned the leadership part of it. He's taking that literal. He's taking ownership of the team, and it's funny how that happens when you're a senior. You realize that this is it for you, so you want to do everything within your control, whether that be leadership and how you play. But he's a guy that we're going to lean heavily upon.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You got 6 new faces, 8 returning this year. You had 10 new last year. Besides Andre, how these newer guys, or maybe guys that didn't get a chance to play last year, how they looked leading up to the season? Well,
it's even the guys that got major minutes last year, but they were kind of thrown into the fire, you know, being first-year guys. Right. And so what we're banking upon is those guys, that experience of last year, you know, of getting used to me, how I coach, getting used to the league, getting used to the length of the season. All these things, when you're a first-year player, you don't really understand. So we're banking on them coming back and having that experience in their belt. Having said that, the guys are more confident, you know, and they did work in the offseason to come back physically better.
Now, as a coach, how difficult, or is it difficult at all, to build chemistry with a team like that with so many new faces? How do you go about trying to do that?
Well, you know, I've often said, I mean, you could have every player on your team come back from the following year and you still would have chemistry issues because players change. They develop, their roles become bigger or smaller. You know, the biggest thing for me when we try and build a team as a staff is getting guys to accept their role. Then that comes with the evaluation process, where we evaluate what they do well and what we don't think they do great. And we work on that, but we stick to what they do well, you know. And so it's a constant struggle every day for guys to accept their role, you know. And if we can get that chemistry piece right and guys are selfless, then things will fall into place. But it's every day where you're trying to build that chemistry and build a team. It's hard work.
Now, you're going to start your season on the road for the Classic out in California. Talk about what it's going to be like for you guys. How beneficial is it to start your season out on the road? Do you kind of learn something about your squad? Not only you get that chance for your team to bond through the travel, but what can you learn from road games like this to start the season off?
Well, I'll tell you what, you find out about your toughness, you know, because when you play on the road, you have to be much sharper, much better. Like, for example, the things that we think are key things when you play a basketball game, turnovers. If you turn the basketball over on the road, it ends up in runs on the wrong side of it. You just have to be sharper, and a lot of times you won't have your normal fans, obviously, on the road, so you're playing either the neutral spot or people are against you. And so it's a good test just to see what our mental focus is and how tough we are early in the season. But you don't want to overreact one way or the other. However, this particular tournament, we're playing 2 regional opponents. They count as regional games. Those loom big when postseason starts to come around and whatnot. So, I mean, you know, if we could find a way, somehow, some way, win 3 games out there, it would be unbelievable.
And then, Coach, what's the competition that's going to be out in the tournament? Who are some of the teams we'll see? Well, you guys will see.
We're opening up with Texas A&M International, which is a Heartland Conference team, so that's a regional opponent. Arkansas Fort Smith, we're playing the next night, who will be a top 10 caliber team. They are. And then Azusa Pacific, who won their conference last year. So, you know, we're dealing with some high-quality competition right off the bat.
And then, Coach, you know, switching topics a little bit, we talked about Sunday Dech quite a bit, this show and then last show. Who are some other players that are going to see some increased responsibilities on your squad?
Enrique Cortez, who was a freshman last year. He's taking the next step. He'll have more responsibility. Peter Moeller is another guy who was a starter last year, but he was a first-year guy. Brian Howard, who's one of our 2 seniors, who will have to take on more responsibility as well. So those are a few to name. And then Buna Makeda, who's started on and off last year, and he's our defensive anchor in the middle. So we're expecting big things out of him as well.
Well, Coach, safe travels to you and the squad as you go to California this weekend. We wish you the best of the luck in these 3 games. We're so excited for basketball. We know what it means at this school. We can't wait to get it started, and hopefully we make it another deep run, but one step at a time, right?
Well, yes, that's exactly right. One game at a time. I appreciate you guys. Keep doing a great job.
Of course. Thank you, Coach. Coming up next, we will have Sunday Dech. You don't want to miss that from your Roadrunner men's basketball team.
Dobinson stops on a dime, now to Cortez. The Cortez beating, count the bucket, and a foul.
If you can't get enough of MSU Denver sports, then you need to tune in to the Roadrunner Review. Get into the game with exclusive highlights, interviews, player stories, and of course the top plays that will have you jumping out of your seat. You can catch all the action on Comcast CET, and at roadrunnersathletics.com.
Hey, nice job! Great spot!
I'm Joe Rice. I'm the Director of Government Relations for Lockheed Martin Space Systems. I transferred into MSU Denver while I was in the Colorado National Guard and after I completed my associate's degree. This was the only university where somebody actually sat down with me and helped me plan out my academic path to finish my degree and graduate on time. Reach for the stars, come to MSU Denver, launch your career.
Brought to you by your #1 volume Nissan dealer, Tynan's Nissan. Come in today and choose from nearly 1,200 new Nissans. Get 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days. During the Bottom Line event, lease the new Altima for only $149 per month. Gives you both efficiency and performance. Looking for an SUV? Then choose the all-wheel drive Rogue at just $159 per month. Also available with optional third-row seat. Bottom Line savings at Tynan's Nissan in Aurora and Fort Collins.
I'm Michaela Smith, senior outside hitter for the Roadrunner volleyball team.
All-American. There's Michaela Smith coming up with the solo block.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Chris Davis from the Roadrunner cross country team, and you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back here on the Roadrunners Coach's Corner. Stephen Priest, Hector Venegas. We are now joined by Sunday Dech, member of your men's basketball squad. Sunday, we're excited to not only see your team this season, but to see you in action. Yeah. Now, we know you were on the squad last year. You didn't get to play, but we finally get to see you play this year. Talk to me, how excited are you for this upcoming season?
Oh, I can't wait. It's been a year in the making. You know, sitting out last year was tough, but, you know, you get to observe from a different perspective, you know, like get to see all the schemes, see how the other teams in our conference, and see how Coach Clark handles our team during game like pressure. So I'm looking forward to it, and we start our season off this Friday, so that'll be great.
Now, MSU Denver has a great tradition of scouting players from Australia. You come from Perth, Australia. How did you end up here in MSU Denver? What led you to the Roadrunner program and to Coach Clark's team?
Well, I was actually here through a past player. So back in Perth, I played with a few guys who actually came to Metro back in the day. So likes of Drew Williamson, who played under Coach Dunlap, and Jesse Wagstaff. So they got in touch with Coach Michael Ball, our assistant coach, because they played together. Got in touch with Coach Clark, you know, saying I'd hopefully be a good fit for the team, and, you know, we got the ball rolling that way.
Now, what has been the most difficult transition for you coming over to not only America but just college ball? Has it, you know, has the altitude been in effect, or maybe the speed of the game? What's been the most difficult transition for you?
The altitude's definitely in effect. You know, coming from sea level, coming up here to the Rocky Mountains where it's a mile high, definitely takes a bit of adjusting. I think it took me 6 weeks last year and this year to get used to. But I think the speed of the game and the intensity at which everyone plays at. You know, everyone plays so hard, and you know, always wanting to win. So I think that's probably the biggest transition coming over.
Now, you got a year under your belt with Coach Clark. Tell us, what is it like working with him day in, day out? I'm sure he's not too hard on you guys, right?
No, he's very hard on us, but we definitely need it. It's been great. You know, like he sets the standard every single morning coming in. He definitely doesn't have any off days, and like I said, he sets the tone for practice, for games, and for everything we do. You know, and the bar set really high, and we have to match that day in and day out.
Now, we had him on a few shows ago, and he was raving about you, and he was excited to see you play. What role have you kind of heard from him, or has he told you that you're going to have on this team? What's your role going to be like, and what positions can we see you playing this year?
Well, speaking to Coach Clark, so I think I play a bit of everything on the court. Play from inside, outside, you know, score the ball, assist, rebound, you know, get steals. But I think my biggest asset that I can bring to the team, and the role is probably being the defensive energy on the court, you know, like trying to lead by example, and hopefully the guys follow suit and we get the wins. That's the ultimate goal.
Now, you know, done with those questions. Do you follow the NBA closely, or?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Who's your team?
My team's New York.
The Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks.
Are they a super team?
No, they're not a super team. I'm actually a Knicks fan because when I first started playing basketball, so I started in 2011, and the next day my older brother actually bought me a Carmelo Nuggets jersey, funnily enough. And yeah, so when Carmelo moved to New York, I kind of followed him, and he's been my guy since I started playing.
Interesting. Now, I got to ask you, last question for you. I've seen the dunks that you've been doing at these Rowdy at the Regency events, all right?
Yeah.
Now, the two-handed ones, you've done it twice now.
Yeah.
You dunked 2 balls at once. The other day, was it Andre Harris you dunked over, right?
Yes, Andre.
Do you practice this at all, or is that just natural ability?
I mean, we do practice the week of the dunk contest.
Okay.
But a lot of it just comes down to, you know, like you see something on YouTube or you see something online, you're like, oh, I'll give that a shot, see if I can get it.
Are you going to try these in games?
Yeah, it's more important that we're going to see these in games.
In games, probably just a standard one-hand or two-handed dunk.
Because you can't miss it.
No, if you miss, start walking to the bench.
Because you know who you got over there. We've seen it.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Sunday, we thank you so much, man, for taking out the time to join us. We're excited to see you play, and we can't wait to see the big things the squad is going to do this year.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, good luck this Friday.
Appreciate it.
Now let's get into the details of what's in store for the rest of the MSU Denver Roadrunners athletics squad and the basketball teams in this coming weekend. Let's start with our soccer teams as they enter the postseason. First, the men's soccer team heads to Golden to take on the Colorado School of Mines at noon on Wednesday. The women's team hits the road west to Grand Junction to take on Colorado Mesa at 6 p.m. Visit roadrunnersathletics.com to keep up with soccer teams as they play in the RMAC Tournament. The men's basketball team will take on Texas A&M International on Friday, as Coach Clark mentioned. Arkansas Forest Smith on Saturday, and Azusa Pacific on Sunday to kick off their season. And the women's basketball team will play in a couple exhibition games at home this weekend as well. First against Northern New Mexico on Friday and Manhattan Christian on Saturday. The cross-country teams will compete in their South Central Regional Championships this Saturday. That meet will take place Saturday morning at Washington Park, so come on out and support head coach Nick Moss and his runners. Well, that'll do it for the day here at the Roadrunners Coaches Corner, this Halloween edition. We want to thank Coach Tittle, Coach Clark, Sunday Dech for joining us. Eric Lansing, JJ Seward running board for us back in the Met Radio studios. Always make sure to keep up with all of the Roadrunners MSU Denver sports at roadrunnersathletics.com. For Hector Venegas, I'm Stephen Priest. We'll see you next time on the Coaches Corner.
Some students come to Metropolitan State University of Denver to find their future. Others look to sharpen their current skills. In the case of David Thibodeau, it was both. Our faculty helped fuel his entrepreneurial spirit while encouraging him to pursue his personal passions. These two talents came together in Ska Brewing Company, which he co-founded in 1998 in Durango and is considered one of the top up-and-coming Colorado companies.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
Met Radio on mymetmedia.com.